Just a couple of weeks left in the Supreme Court session and some big rulings still outstanding. And President Biden invokes the Defense Production Act for his green energy push. But is that really a national security priority? Let's ask Alan Dershowitz. He's our legal legend and the host of the podcast, The Dersh Show. He's also the author of The Case for Colorblind Equality in an Age of Identity Politics. Check it out. All right. Welcome, Professor. Always good to see you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Sir, so the Defense Production Act has been repeatedly invoked by this administration, and it's starting to now get some real scrutiny. The Biden administration's latest move this month was invoking it to accelerate domestic production of green energy technology. Are we getting a little far afield here from the original legislative intent of this, and is it being abused?
It's being abused. It's been abused by both parties. You know, both parties want, when they run for office, say they want to restrict executive power. Once they get to office, it started with Thomas Jefferson, who, bought the Louisiana Purchase after promising he would do nothing by himself without Congress. And now every president says, oh, there's a law somewhere, this Production Act, that Production Act. It allows me to do this. It allows me to do that. We don't need legislation. We don't need the judiciary. I'm the president. I can do anything I want. And the courts generally slap them down when they do that, as they slap down President Trump, as they slap down President Biden. And I hope they will continue to slap down presidents who misuse these administrative acts that are designed for one purpose and try to use them for a different purpose. Go to the legislature. Biden, You have control of both the Senate and the House. Get them to pass laws. Don't assume the power yourself. That's not what the Constitution mandates.
Yeah, we talk about constitutional crises of one kind or another a lot in this country, but the fact that we don't seem to have three kind of co-equal branches of government anymore, I think, is probably one of the biggest ones.
Every branch of government tries to gain more power. Look at Judge Carter in California, a judge. He rules that President Trump committed 3 crimes without taking one bit of evidence from Trump, without hearing from him, without him being a litigant in the case. Right. He makes up crimes. So here's the judiciary overreaching.
Right.
Or if the Supreme Court were to overrule Roe versus Wade now, they would be overreaching because that issue is not before them. The only issue is whether the Mississippi statute, which prohibits abortions after 15 weeks, is constitutional. Even if that's constitutional, it doesn't say anything about the first 15 weeks. So the Supreme Court would be reaching out and deciding a case not before it. Each branch of the government today is guilty of overreaching.
We're talking about the Dobbs case there, which we still haven't seen the opinion. We may see it on this week. We may see it the following week. But there's an organization out there called Jane's Revenge. We've also heard about Ruth sent us. Now, this organization, Jane's Revenge, is planning chaos, and they're actually advertising this fact. We've seen attacks on churches, pro-life facilities on the rise. The Supreme Court looks like a fortress. I'm sure you've seen that. This is not necessarily a legal question, but I wanted to ask you, you think that we're really looking at another summer of political violence like we saw in 2020? And does the local, state, and federal law enforcement really have to take this more seriously than it appears that they are doing right now?
I'm afraid we will have a summer of violence if the Supreme Court overrules Roe versus Wade, and we will see the Justice Department and this administration selectively enforcing the law. You won't find congressional committees controlled by Democrats evaluating whether there was incitement, whether Black Lives Matter or women's groups incited. We have to have one law for all. The rules have to be identical. It doesn't matter if you're protesting something that deserves to be protested, like the ending of Roe versus Wade, or something that doesn't deserve to be protested. That's not what the First Amendment is about. The First Amendment doesn't choose between causes, and it has, and Chief Justice Rehnquist said, there's no such thing as a false opinion under the First Amendment. So the rules have to be identical, and unfortunately, they're not identical. They're selectively imposed and enforced. So I predict this summer violence and selective enforcement of the law against certain groups and in favor of others, and that's a tragedy.
I agree. Professor Alan Dershowitz, always great to see you, sir. We're going to have to leave it there. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.